got a surprise for you. Come on over here. Hey, you know how the trucks can be like super hot? Look at this. Check this out. Look. You're not looking. Look right here. Look at that. Vintage air conditioning. You excited? Yeah? Let's do it. Today, we're fixing a vintage air conditioner. Keep watching. For any car, you can move it from one car to the next, to a truck, to commercial vehicle, to the back of the vehicle. Anywhere that you can plug a cigarette lighter in, you can use this, and you have a gallon of water. So, simple evaporative cooling. If you live in the central U.S. or west, you know what these things are. You live in Australia, you know what these things are. Swamp coolers. They are super basic machines. We have a water fill, so you just fill this up with water. You can also put ice. Honestly, ice doesn't make that big a difference the way the evaporative coolers work. You think they do, but it doesn't really. You have a little magazine holder here, 2 little drink holders, and a little tray for your pack of cigarettes. And you even got a bottle opener on the side. So you can take your Coke, open your Coke, and set it on this precarious thing, and just hopefully you drive nice and stable. But there you go. Let's go through it, clean it up, make it work. Oh, we got a little water gauge right here. Tell you how much water's in it, because you got to keep it, you know, you got to have some water in there. So there's just 4 little screws around the edges, and this whole top seems to want to pull up. Looks like I'm missing I think there was a guardrail or something kind of right here, but it only sat like an inch high, or 3/4 of an inch high, looking at different pictures online. And that's what we got. Apparently the Dirt Daubers want air conditioning. And we got a huge O-ring of some sort sitting down here. Figure out what that goes to. So it has aspen. This is just wood fibers. They have cellulose fibers nowadays. They have everything. But essentially, these get soaked with water. Water is dribbled over these, and then the air is pulled through it, and it creates cooling. The exact same principle as sweat. So when you sweat, if the wind blows on you and it cools you off, the same principle. So anytime water evaporates, it creates a cooling effect. So that's all these do, and it just sits there, and it puts a minuscule amount of humidity into the air, especially if you have open windows and stuff like that. Maybe 2% more humidity. I live in Utah where humidity averages around maybe 15-20%, so swamp coolers work amazing. Nobody uses them anymore. They're just antiques. But this all looks good. Usually what will happen is hard water will make these calcified and they'll get super stiff, but that doesn't feel like it's calcified at all. So this actually, I bet you, and this is actually looks like the original. Yeah, because it's all bundled up beautifully. So I bet you that's going to work, because it just needs to soak up water. It's going to work just fine. There's really nothing to this. Just needs to be kind of washed out. Just kind of a plastic tray. So luckily this has been stored indoors for at least like 20 plus years, according to the guy I got it from. And it looks like, I think, yeah, that's what this is. This isn't an O-ring, it's a belt. So you have to have a water pump. So this is your water pump that sucks off water off the bottom, and then it will pull it up to this T and push it out to there, here, so it soaks all the aspen or cellulose fibers, just drizzles water over the top of them. And to run that, it looks like we have just a squirrel cage fan blower motor right here, and there's a little pulley on there, and this just changes directions, and so you can run a water pump this way and while the fan blows. I guess I just kind of want to take this off before we wash it. Looks like this is just spade connected on. Don't want to get the motor soaking wet. I'll just clean it up a little bit better anyway. Yeah, we'll open that up, clean it up. I know this seems gimmicky, but any cola has phosphoric acid in it, which neutralizes rust. Tin foil is just a light abrasive that doesn't really scratch cheap chrome. thought I'd show you guys the pumps. Like, see how it just sprays out all those. It'll just dribble water down into all three sides. There is no hard water. If you know anything about evaporative coolers, swamp coolers, they get hard water buildup everywhere on them. This has none. So I don't think this thing has any use at all on it, really. Considering there's no hard water anywhere on here. The mats are actually, they soaked up water instantly, and they feel super nice and flexible. So the original mat's still great. So we'll reuse that and clean this out as good as I could. There's this plastic liner, this gray plastic, and it doesn't look like it comes out. So kind of just, there's only really one access hole. You can't really see the whole bottom, and then apparently there's a plug on the bottom. I took it out and it's not sealing very well, so I'll have to, I think I probably have a cork or something we can jam in there. And then I was noticing these, and it looks like these are for feet. So you can actually prop it up. It looks like it just round rod goes down each one. So this is a double shaft motor, so it just runs through both sides. The shaft just comes out both sides. On each side they're going to be usually a bronze bushing, and then there's going to be some cotton wadding packing that holds oil. And it's probably all dried up or something. So we're just going to use some super thin oil. I've used ATF. ATF works good. Motor oil works good. We're just going to drip it on the shaft and then just let that flow in. Something like that better. Yeah, that's actually pretty good right there. Oops, I can get it on the pulley. That's actually nearly perfect. I can live with that. Looks good. And that belt's not tight enough. That's okay. That actually sounds fantastic. That's nice and quiet. I moved some decent air. When your O-ring hoard pays off, right? Too big. That looks smaller. That's just a hair smaller and a hair thicker, so oh yeah, it's way tighter. Let's try that. Oh yeah, it's spinning it good, and it has a decent amount of torque. So these vents, the fake chrome they put on it, it's kind of peeling off. So while I have it apart, I'm just going to pop these out real fast and just touch them up, repaint them with probably some phony chrome. They just unscrew real fast. You can see it's just that plastic. So those look pretty good now. Put the switches in. Actually changed the colors of the buttons. They had it like blue was off and red was high, which makes no sense. That red should be off. So I don't know if somebody, because the buttons just pull off, so I think somebody pulled the buttons off before. But we found our first date. This switch was manufactured January of 1968. So it puts this manufactured sometime after there, probably around 68. Maybe even for the summer of 68 or something. This would be something that you would order, like out of your J.C. Whitney catalog, or, you know, I'm sure, I mean, Sears probably had a version of this. Something like that. You go to Sears and pick yourself up one, order it out of the catalog. Put those screws back in. Yeah. We should almost be ready to rock and roll. This really isn't a complicated machine. Just to show you what a swamp cooler can do, is over 100 degrees outside, and you can see what temperature it blows in here. About 21°C/68 degrees Fahrenheit. And the thing is they move all that air. So the entire shop within 5 minutes of turning it on is 68 degrees. It can be 100 degrees in here, and 5 minutes later the whole thing's 68. Unlike central air or something else like that, a real air conditioning, you know, that'll take, it would take you 3 hours to cool down a shop. So I was hooking the wiring back up, and I just can't live with this. This is the original plug cord. It's riveted together, so I can't just put a new wire in there. But there's no fuse in the tip. They've just spliced it. I need to just wire my own, so I just went through my, actually have a big stash of cigarette lighter plugs. This one looks like it's off of a cell phone. I think it was a cell phone charger for something in the 90s. I'll just cut this end off. The gauge is thick enough. It looks like there's a 15 amp fuse in the tip, so that should suffice. And we'll just wire this in instead of this weird Mickey Mouse thing they did. That's not, the wires aren't even the same length. That's the difference in the wires they wired in. And I'm not a big fan of these butt connectors. So, okay, all new power cord hooked up with a fuse. Nice connectors that are shielded. Everything in there. The other people that actually extended the last one, they actually flipped the wires, and so this fan was running in reverse. It would still work, but it probably won't be as powerful. Plug it in. Oh, there's even a green LED on there. Didn't know about that. And then we should be able to hit low. High works. Oh, low works. I just didn't have it. Yep, it looks like it's spinning the right way. It's spinning this way. On high, 5 amps. We kind of put our load on there. Simulate pumping water. Maybe 5.25 amps, 5.5 amps. They're super efficient. You could run this off a solar panel. 5 amp solar panel is set on the roof of the car and just cool the inside. Your fresh water goes into here, you'll fill it up until it's about this level, a little bit below this level. You have a hole right here, and that's just goes to the very bottom, and that's where this level indicator sits, which is just a piece of foam attached to a block, and that just lets you know how full or empty you are. So all we have to do, set this, the water pump sits in that hole. Actually got oil on it, but we'll set that down in there. I did make some little feet for it, just out of some round, 1/4 inch round bar, pencil steel, whatever you want to call it. And then these are just little washers. They're actually injector seals for a Volkswagen diesel. I'm curious how much water this holds. I like analog. Analog's so cool. Yeah, so we're about half full with 1 gallon. So 2 gallons is gonna do it. Right, let me let it run for a minute. I'll make sure it's picking up water. And you can see the water flowing. So it's just been running for a second. And we're sitting right around 74 degrees /24 Celsius. Not too bad. It's pulling in high 90s, like 96 degree air right now, with the garage door wide open. So it's hot, and this feels amazing. It's not AC, but it's amazing for what it is. And we're down to, I'm gonna say 70 degrees /21, 22 degrees Celsius, somewhere in there. Okay, real world. And the current temperature in the truck, it's 100 degrees outside, and the temperature in the truck is probably about 150. The thing is just pegged. So left water in there all night long. So I bet you the water in there is pushing 100 degrees right now. So we'll fire it up, see what it does. I can actually plug it in any time. Let's take a drive. Pulled out of the driveway. It's only been like a minute and we're already at 120. A little about 150C. Dog says it's hot in here with the windows up, but we're trying it. Okay, park first minute in the middle of the sun. Don't have tinted windows on the side, so the sun just coming in is hot. The dash is about 116 degrees, about 101 just with this thing dangling down here. I don't know how accurate that is. Probably pretty close because all the, like the dash and everything is still just 150 degrees, but it's blowing out 86 degree air. Yeah, that's about 30 C. That doesn't sound cool, but it feels like cold. It feels like a fan that's blowing out, not cold, coolish air. The dog still says it's hot, but it feels actually pretty dang good. Actually better than having the window down. I actually put this a windshield screen in front of the side window because the sun coming in is just so hot and just bakes the inside. It's 102 degrees outside right now, but the sun is at our back, so it's not just shining in, and we're able to blow about 70 degree air. So it's circulating 70 degree air in here. If I roll down the window, it's just gonna flood the outside 100 degree air in here. But it feels actually pretty dang good. It's definitely not air conditioning, but if you didn't have any air conditioning in a vehicle, oh yeah, this feels amazing. Hey, you want a nice cold beverage? Check that out. Heck yeah. Beautiful. Ginger, you give me my drink? You give me my drink? Huh? You give me my drink? It's in here. It's right there. Get up. Get up. Okay, yeah, that's a bad idea. You don't have as much playroom. Hey, get up. Get up. Never mind. That's not my drink. That works, so I could probably drink that as well.